Super. We are live now. We are live now. Summer, do you want to read the synopsis?
Okay. Rajan sir, should I start?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
It is one of the rules of the game that 5% or little more of the memory patterns accumulated from the beginning of Swaha to the grossest point Nadir and Bhu on the upward arc seek redemption or failing which fulfillment. But no redeeming is possible unconsciously nor by any law of causation.
The one thing I want to say over here is I think you missed out is that 5% of every motive, thought, and action which is harmful to, and they must be harmful to others.
Yeah, that we had covered in the last redemption one synopsis.
Right.
So, yeah.
So what is important is here is harmful to others. So how would we come to that point? How would we come to that point? No, I mean, we read that about the divine fragment falling, and the divine fragment, what do you call, getting stuck, right? And not falling to Nade. So how do we relate this to that? Even if it's a repetition, I think you should add that 5%, that point over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was loaned negative emotions?
No. The low negative emotions came on loan. Now, Mr. Tavaria is saying it is that 5%, but that of karma, but it is that karma way in which there are, what do you call,
Damaging and harmful to others.
which are damaging and harmful to others.
Yeah.
In motive, in thought, and in action.
Which is recorded in super micro recording monitor in Mohammed.
Yeah. So how do we relate it? Where is this 5%? If we can say most of this 5%, where would it be created? Where would it be created? Most of the 5%, where would we create this 5%?
When we just have one physical body and not the other bodies, the astral or the mental.
So it is only after the loan of the negative
emotions.
See, if today I have no negative emotions, how much of a thought can I have which is damaging to others? Supposing I'm totally free of negative emotions, right? Then how do I have a thought which is damaging to others? Even though he says we have accumulated this from the time the divine fragment entered into Swaha, right? But that accumulation would be very little unless it could be of some totally different kind. The main accumulation has happened in the last 4 substages of what do you call Bhu.
But sir, isn't it that we don't have the the secondary body? The secondary body is a primary, the physical body at that time and not the astral body. when we are falling from the substage 4 downwards. We just have one physical body. Then how do we have the negative emotions at that time?
No. You have to take him as the journey is being done by the divine fragment. Right? Now the divine fragment will keep on taking bodies. Right? But the divine fragment got stuck at that fourth substage. Right? And negative emotions was given to him on a loan. He used those negative emotions to reach Nadir. Right? Now from Nadir, he rose up, but he has not. What I'm trying to say is this, where can this 5% actually have been created? Even though he says we have been creating it right from the time we entered into Swaha, but it is not so possible to create any karma which is harmful to others unless we have negative emotions.
He mentioned in 5th chapter that the last two sub-stages of the Bhuvalok, the negative energies are come into the existence, and with resonance to that, the other animal kingdom and other kingdoms are come into existence. So from that onwards, it can be the beginning of the rise of the negative emotions.
Now, that will take in 5th chapter.
In 5th chapter.
But he has taken that at this point, the negative emotions were given to the divine fragment.
Yes.
And that divine fragment fell down because of the negative emotions. Right? So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is this 5% has been created mainly in those 4 sub-stages of Bhu. Because without negative emotions, how are you going to create a karma? How are you going to have a thought which is harmful to someone else?
So that means an upward arc 1 to 4 substages.
Now this is very, it is very deep because like Manish says that when man started using the negative emotions, right, the resonance from the negative emotions gave rise to the animal kingdom and the lower kingdoms. The lower kingdoms. So in a way, he is using negative emotions. The negative emotions are creating resonance. And as he is falling lower, the very kingdoms in which he is falling are being created. I don't know if...
So can we say that, like to go up to Nadir, the negative emotions are playing a role to go up to Nadir. Otherwise, it cannot go up to Nadir.
It's just like we need low.
Yeah, but the very negative emotions created Nadir.
So the creation itself of Nadir is based on the negative emotion.
Based on the resonance count of the negative emotions.
Okay. So
But
Nadir
sir,
is not an original state. It is what is created by this 5%.
This is, we are taking Manisha because Manisha is saying it is written in chapter 5, but we are just taking that. Yes,
When he is, Tavaria ji is...
I don't know why he's giving these chapters first and then fifth. Why he's writing fifth and fifth? There must be some reason behind it, right?
But we're just trying to relate over here that this 5% of negative emotions, most of it must have, karma must have been created at these 4 last stages of the downward arc.
but sir, there is one more point. Emotion is the property of the astral body.
Right.
And in the last 4 stages of Bhu, we don't have the astral body. We just have the physical body. It joins later only on the upward arc. When we reach the 4th substage of Bhu and then upwards, the astral body joins.
Right. But then these negative emotions must have had some kind of emotional body between the astral and the physical body. Anyway, we'll read further, but he'll have to explain this point because this point is, what do you call that, 5% of karma, when did he create this 5% of karma?
And in 4th stage, there is no astral body, but there is astral belt around the earth.
Right. Okay, let's go ahead. Yeah.
They are to be understood and to be transcended intelligently, sincerely, and knowingly by each and every person.
Right. So what we have created is coming back to us in the form of an event. And if we can take that event as something which we have to transcend, that is, we have to redeem, then we have to do it intelligently, sincerely, and knowingly.
But the only reason they come our way is because the body, mind, and senses have to be redeemed.
Because they have committed this act and they have to be redeemed.
If we are not conscious of this fact and do not redeem in a proper manner, the next effect it has is of seeming causation.
Seeming causation. So now the event has come, and we know that this 5% is inviting every event of our life, right? And the event has come, and if I don't redeem myself in the event, then that event goes into a line of seeming causation. Seeming causation. So it may not mean that only that event of that kind will be repeated, but it will definitely mean there will be causation in all directions, and so many other things will also come to meet me.
So is it related to memory patterns?
This is the okay, in the end, it has to be memory pattern. No?
And redeeming is only possible if one is convinced about the primary astral body besides the physical.
Right. The primary astral body, that there is a body which is an astral body, and that controls the physical body or should control the physical body. But till it does not control the physical body, it is subject to the whims and what you call temptations and hungers of the physical body. Then it is not the primary body, even so it is, you can say it is not a real astral body in that sense.
One is consciously able, under a transcendental teacher, to separate the primary body from the secondary for various advanced practices.
Yeah, we'll leave this out just now. We left that out last.
Very advanced.
Yeah. But if we can separate from our negative emotions, then in a way we are separating the primary body from the secondary body.
Third, one is convinced that the best and the only teacher is the encased transcendental divine fragment within.
Yeah, with these 2 points we'll leave just now. Yeah.
Fourth, body, mind, and senses therefore accept the divine fragment and the guidance given with devotion.
Devotion, right. Right. Ishwar Pranidhana.
Fifth, correct regular daily practice of higher scientific yoga study is adopted.
Right.
In our ignorance, when we are not ready to redeem our past consciously, we suffer. And it all appears as painful and undeserved or God's will. Thus are reap as you sow and other such meaningless theories woven.
So this is what has come to meet us is redemption. And because we don't redeem, right, it goes into a what you call series of causation, right? And we think it is because we have sown the wrong seed, we are reaping the wrong fruit.
We go through life unconsciously, unconscious of our past roots, however deep down and far off they may have been. we do not want to come out of our moral and mental blindness. We prefer to live in a cocoon like the worm and do not wish to fly like the beautiful butterfly.
Right. Which were Muhammad Ali's famous words? Anybody remember Muhammad Ali's very famous words? Yeah. No. Okay, we'll go ahead. Yeah.
When we are not aware of redeeming, we shiver and cringe because we have no moral courage to say, well, my own deeds, thoughts, and motives, those deliberate, damaging ones, are revisiting me.
Right.
But if you are conscious, you smile and welcome the opportunity to redeem.
Right. The event in front of us is the opportunity to redeem, right? And it is not something where we have sown a seed and we have to suffer the consequences of the same, right? And in that redemption itself becomes a cause for so much in the future. Right?
We who die unconsciously and not knowing our own past memory patterns, wherever and whenever they germinate and create events, think we do not deserve what we get.
Hmm.
Not only is, yeah.
This is where we go into the opposite. In one, we say, my own deeds have come to meet me, and this thing, and when we are very happy, we say we do not deserve what we get. Right.
Not only is memory required to know the why about such visitations, but also the awareness that it is not karmic debt with causation, retribution, or punishment that has visited us, but the opportunities to redeem.
Mhm.
The method, the approach, and the fulfillment is then totally different.
So there's a technique, the method, there is a way of using that technique, approach, and there is a way of knowing whether we have fulfilled our goal or not. Hmm.
Okay. Should we move to the next synopsis?
Is there another synopsis?
Of the last reading, we have one of the last reading. So it's a small one.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So if we are in causation and we are not redeeming, so then we are a part of a circle only. We die and then again we are born in the same place.
Right.
So we are stuck in the loop.
We are stuck in a loop somewhere. Yeah.
So every time new patterns come to meet me, or the same pattern will keep on coming to meet me.
It
In
will
ev-
it means the impulse will be the same, but from the impulse, how many different kind of patterns are generated, we don't know. See, I have a pattern of giving it back to somebody. Right? So I put down somebody. Right? Now, in a way, that is the same I which wants to take revenge. So it may come in a different form. You understand? Here I'll say, you have insulted me, and but you are wrong. So I'm putting myself right. I'm justifying myself. Right? But in another case, the same pattern, right, may make me go and harm somebody physically. But the I is the same. It is that I which wants to extract revenge, which gets satisfaction in extracting revenge. It gets satisfaction in being better than somebody. It gets satisfaction in putting down somebody. It gets satisfaction in being sarcastic about somebody. Right? So the I is the same over there. And that I has to be recognized. then we can have redemption over that, right? Yeah. Okay, we take the next synopsis.
Bhavya, do you have the file? Okay. Good.
The biggest of mirages of existence is that we go by the shape of a body, its texture, and its constituents, and not by the seed, the power that resides within. The most necessary aspect of life is to be conscious of return to the source.
Right. We must consciously redeem and then start our journey of returning to the source. But we cannot start our journey of returning to the source unless we have paid off that loan. We've paid off that loan.
If we can generate the energy of life and awareness in proper quality and quantity, and the energy of the essence of consciousness of first grade with spiritual will, properly cultivated, developed, and directed, this coherent and developed form is independent of unconscious dying and bodies.
Can we read that again?
If we can generate the energy of life and awareness in proper quality and quantity, and the energy of the essence of consciousness of first grade with spiritual will, properly cultivated, developed, and directed, this coherent and developed form is independent of unconscious dying and bodies.
Right.
Positive one.
Huh?
Positive one.
Okay, all this is the positive of
positive energy of life and
first, that is the divinity.
Consciousness, no positive spiritual will.
Essence of consciousness.
Essence of consciousness.
Right.
And then divine will move positive.
Form.
Spiritual will.
Spiritual will. Okay, spiritual will. Barabar. We've got the positive aspect of all this six of the 3 days.
All 3 days.
3 days. Positive aspect of all the 3 days. Right.
In Udanvayu from Satya.
This.
Amanish mentioned.
Right.
Mentioned here.
Right. This coherent and developed form is independent of unconscious dying. So if we can develop this much, that is energy of life and awareness, of a right quality and quantity, energy of essence of consciousness, first grade with spiritual will, then we are this form, the inner astral form, the inner form which we have. It becomes a coherent, developed form. It becomes what you call sangat. Coherent, we can take the word from the Gita, sangat, where it becomes a kind of mini cosmos, right? And it is independent of unconscious dying. Now that inner form cannot die what you call unconsciously. Death will only be conscious for such a form. See, even with self-observation, once the observing eye is recognized, and once we see at the background of every thought, every feeling we have in the mind, the observing eye is there. That observing eye it has a kind of what you call life longer than the physical life of the body. Even in that, just a small step in self-observation, right? Yeah.
To be immortal means to be conscious at all times and to be able to pass from one form into another, from one state into another, from lesser to greater dimensions. In fact, across the full range of the spectrum of vibrations.
One form into another form. one state into another state, and one dimension into a higher dimension, or lower dimension into a higher dimension. This is the meaning of consciousness. What is the meaning of consciousness? Right? The ability to pass from one form into another form, from one state into another state, and from lower dimensions into higher dimensions. In fact, across the full range of spectrum of awareness. This is the meaning, his definition of the word. You can write what consciousness means over here.
If this is possible for an individual, such a person will know from prolonged practical study the laws of the astral or molecular travel and will be able to diagnose and set right or heal cellular or physical bodies.
You will get certain powers, the power of astral travel and the power of healing. Right.
A fully conscious man has developed a fresh mental body and so established a firm link with pure consciousness. The idea of development, that is, to fill the void existing between awareness of the body and mind and the mighty force of pure consciousness, is to forge and develop a link with pure consciousness, that is, the divine fragment, with the help of the energy of the essence of consciousness.
I think we have missed out something over here, which we read last time. Anyway.
Yes, the line is that a fully conscious man has developed a permanent and indestructible principle of awareness.
Yes. Yes. You see, it is through consciousness that we gain the energy of essence of consciousness, what do you call first grade, and we develop that fresh mental body, fresh mental body. So in Gurdjieffian language, it would mean digesting the impression food, right? So we can say two things. There is sensitivity, that is where there is awareness of body and mind. And there is consciousness, which is something which is totally different, which he calls the mighty force of pure consciousness. And the idea is to develop a link between the two. Develop a link between the two.
Yeah, something is missing, Rajen. Don't you think like that? Something is not clear so much.
Yeah, it is missing. I think, can you read the original, Ketan?
Yeah.
The whole part.
A fully conscious man has developed a permanent
I
and
think a little before that.
indestructible
Because at that
principle.
time, it became very clear to me when we were reading it, but now it's not becoming clear. At that.
Yes. A fully conscious man has developed a permanent and indestructible principle of awareness,
Right.
namely a fresh mental body, and
Oh,
so established.
so this will mean two things. That just now I sit in meditation and I am aware of my body and mind, right? But that is not consciousness, right? I don't know if this is coming across. The minute I have even one drop of consciousness, then awareness won't leave me for 24 hours. Read that again.
Yes.
A fully conscious man has developed a permanent and indestructible
Indestructible principle of awareness. Right? So, first of all, we have to, what do you call, divide between all meditative techniques are of awareness. Everything we do are of awareness. From that, we go back into a state of identification. Right? And again, we try to be aware, and again, He's saying the minute you have even one drop of consciousness, you can never be unaware again. That's the end. You're aware all 24 hours. This is his difference between awareness and consciousness. This is his difference between awareness and consciousness. This is impossible for anyone else to understand, right? Because it leaves Gurdjieff and everybody far away when you talk about something like this. Right? Because in Gurdjieff, they mix consciousness and awareness. But what he is saying that you can practice being aware of the mind and the awareness of the body and all. But consciousness is such a mighty force that once you have consciousness, you can never be unaware again.
That means that energy of essence of consciousness, first grade, is a bridging energy between consciousness and the awareness.
Awareness. It is the bridging energy between awareness. Beautiful. This is too good.
Rajan, this is only acting if the essence of consciousness is grade 1. Is it so, right?
Essence
Because
of
then
consciousness, grade 1. Yes, very true.
Huh.
That is, it connects awareness to consciousness.
We are practicing for
Shakti, Shiva realizes himself through the eyes of Shakti. It connects awareness to consciousness.
But consciousness never remains same, right? Only the
Consciousness
taste
is
of
always
consciousness
same. Consciousness always remains same. Awareness never remains same.
increase and decrease. Awareness increase and decrease, right?
Right. So what he is saying that you sit in meditation, you do this, you do that, all that are experiments in
Awareness.
But he says, can you just read that sentence again?
A fully conscious man has developed a permanent and indestructible principle of
Principle of awareness. Once you have consciousness, then awareness is there all 24 hours. You don't have to, it is indestructible. You cannot, that awareness cannot go up and down and all that. And that is the meaning of consciousness.
It is always there.
This is something very, very different.
But if someone is not fully conscious, then Rajan bhai,
Huh?
if consciousness sometimes, somebody.
And sometimes awareness will connect to consciousness. In that moments of consciousness, you will feel awareness is indestructible. But the minute awareness goes away, then you will lose consciousness. That bridging, you have not created enough of the bridging energy.
There is a paper on degrees of awareness.
Achha.
Tavaria ji in discourses. Discourses 4.
Rajan uncle, here he is talking about a fresh mental body. Now, this fresh means there was one mental body which is gone, and now a new mental body is coming up. And because of this mental body, we are able to establish the link.
Yeah, so when we were in the downward arc, right? And we entered into Swaha, we were given a mental body to what you call work in Swaha.
Okay.
Relate to Swaha. Now, the minute we came out of Swaha, we left that mental body. Now, if you want a mental body, you have to create the mental body. It is through conscious effort that you can create the mental body.
Right.
In the last substage of Bhuva, last mental body was disintegrated.
So he's saying, Manish is saying in the last substage of Bhuva, that before entering Bhu, the end of the mental body was totally disintegrated at that time.
Do we call this point as enlightenment?
Which?
This where consciousness and awareness are at the same point.
Yeah, that is enlightenment.
Okay.
Or you can call the first glimpse also as a kind of enlightenment. This morning we were driving and on some masjid I read the word dhikra. Dhikra in what do you call it? It is that ek jhaki, right? There is a sudden connection of awareness to consciousness, and there is an what do you call the dhikra? It was dhikra. Right. Okay. So we'll start this chapter next time, no?
Whatever you, Ivan, and others
Yeah, I
think is
want to
okay.
do that 7 rays.
7 rays.
I want to take the 7 rays. So why don't you take the 7 rays?
Okay.
So you sent me was the old documents, and I added in the new document. So please go see this and check it.
Okay. Okay. So, Rajan bhai, should we first read that part in purpose which has the 7 rays and
Yeah.
then read the Okay. Okay. So, Bhavya, if you could share purpose and in purpose,
It's page
go to
22.
page number 21.
Yeah.
No, but you have made a very good table in the documents. That will be more convenient to.
Okay, then let's do that then.
You have made is very good table. So it is a compiled view for us.
Okay, okay. Bhavya, let me share the paper for a minute and let's see that if we can, if that works. Are you talking about this table?
Yes.
Yeah, but we have to read what Mr. Tavaria has said first on the.
Okay, okay. Yes, Bhavya. If you could please share again. Yeah. Alka, are you there with us?
Yes, Keitava, I'm very sure.
Should we read from now as the eternities roll by?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as the eternities roll and the vibrations keep falling rapidly and constantly at an enormous rate during all those 7 eternities, this unique original force field, Tapa, generates 7 rays in its pregnant state. To use human language for human minds.
Pregnant state means it wants to give out an impulse, and that impulse goes out in 7 rays. The first impulse goes out in 7 rays. Yeah.
Herein begin the laws of 3 and 7.
Laws of 3 and 7 began here in Tapa universe. In Tapa universe.
The 3 vital principles evolve 7 rays, which later become 7 vital energies in existence. Where the 3 universes prevail, each having 7 substages. These 7 rays are 1. The positive, active or affirming or constructive ray of divinity, the first vital divine principle.
Yeah, so there are 3 vital divine principles: divinity, cosmic consciousness, and divine will.
Yeah.
And the first is the positive aspect of divinity, right? So that is the first ray, ray number 1, the positive aspect of divinity. Yeah.
Number 2 is the negative, passive or denying or destructive ray of divinity, the first vital divine principle.
So if there is an affirming, because now we are moving into the law of duality, right? There has to be what you call denying principle or destructive principle, right? So if today a mason is building a house, he puts a brick and he'll take a load of cement and drop it on top, then it's the constructive principle. But then he says he has too much cement, so he'll throw away a little bit of the cement. So he needs the negative one to what you call neutralize the constructive principle, and both these move together at every moment in our life, right?
Number 3, the positive, active, or affirming or wisdom ray of cosmic consciousness, the second vital divine principle.
So now, before this, I want to just go into those three, what do you call divine? Can you go scroll down a little?
Three divine principles?
Go back to the three divine principles.
They're right here.
Yeah.
Ray of divinity, of cosmic consciousness, and
Right. So
divine will.
the three divine principles are divinity, cosmic
consciousness,
and divine will. Now, in the language of the Shastras, it is said that inherent in Paramatma, inherent in the divine, is his Kriya Shakti, that is the divinity, his Gyan Shakti or cosmic consciousness, and his Ichha Shakti and divine will. So we can relate this to the Shastras that that Paramatma has three Shaktis which are within him, right? And it is the Kriya Shakti which becomes the principle of divinity. It is the Gyan Shakti which becomes the principle of cosmic consciousness. And it is the, what you call,
divine will.
Ichha Shakti, or which becomes will is Ichha, of course, right? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so the positive, active, or affirming or wisdom ray of cosmic consciousness, the second vital divine principle.
So there is a ray of wisdom which gives understanding, right? And understanding is one of the most important things which can happen in our life, moment to moment of understanding. That comes from the, what do you call, his Gyan Shakti, that is the wisdom ray of cosmic consciousness. Yeah.
Number 4, the negative, passive, or denying or ignorance ray of cosmic consciousness, the second vital divine principle.
This is avidya. This is avidya. So where there is vidya, the wisdom ray, there is avidya.
Number 5, the positive, active, or affirming or possible ray of divine will, the third vital divine principle.
Right. Now this is the power of Ichha Shakti. So that one which can create, or one which can reach its goal, that is the one of the positive ray of divine will, and the one which will face obstacles and be denied, the negative ray of and we will see in many things in our later on when we study the third force. If the third force goes with our desire, we will go ahead, and if the third force goes with our obstacles, then our desire will not be fulfilled, right? So later on we will see the third force. We'll talk about that, the neutral ray.
Number 6, the negative, passive, or denying or impossible ray of divine will, the third vital divine principle.
So now in these 5 and 6, we must be able to, when we are looking at our lives, what is in my range of possibilities and what is in my range of impossibilities, right? Now, many people come to me and they say, I don't want to take a future birth. I want to achieve everything in this birth. Now, that goes in the range of impossibilities, right? When Mr. Tavaria is saying minimum you'll have to take 200 to 1,000 births, right? So why are you talking of something which is in the range? But people love to talk in impossibilities, right? So what is possible and what is impossible? Right? I have this cup in front of me. I can break this cup. It's possible. It is in the range of possibility. But I can turn this cup from what do you call glass into gold is in the range of impossibility. So in my life, where I am just now, 70 years old, what is possible and what is impossible? And the understanding of this will bring the ray of wisdom. That is the third one, the ray of wisdom, the ray of understanding, knowledge, right? That where I am. Yeah.
And we
Number
see
7.
positive aspect naturally join with the positive aspect, and negative aspect naturally join with the negative aspect.
Yeah,
When we have avidya, we are talking of impossibilities
right.
and destruction.
Right, very true. I mean, because of avidya, we are talking of impossibilities. Yeah, very true. Right. Yeah, go ahead.
Number 7. Neutral ray from Satyam.
Mm.
The absolute interpenetrating tapa as a ray, very useful, pliable, reconciling. It pervades all creation and later existence.
So these six become positive and negative three forces in existence. But no, they'll become not, they'll become seven energies in existence. But when we have three forces in existence, the third force is this pliable ray of neutral ray from Satyam. This third force is the neutral ray from Satyam. Right.
It is the inherent built in check to prevent degeneration from going on forever and ever.
Beautiful. It checks excess. We will see it is pliable. That means consciously it can be moved, this ray. This ray can be consciously changed. So from a state of avidya, you can move from a state to vidya. Before that, he said that you can change your states, you can change your forms, right? So this that is because this ray is pliable, it is possible. It is reconciling, right? It balances the other waves. What do you call? And it what do you call it? It is a check to excesses. So in this in the Hindu Shastra, this check to excesses is called as yama.
Yeah.
Yama, right? So in the Bible, there's a beautiful this thing, and the sea said that it will take over all the land, but the sand came and stopped the sea, and the trees said that they will grow and grow, but the desert came and stopped the. So there's a what do you call? Everywhere there is a check. If summer cannot go on forever, it has to be checked, and winter will come in. So this everywhere where the pendulum is checked and the other swing of the pendulum comes in, that law in this thing is called yama. So this neutral ray also performs the function of the god of death, yama. Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, how is it God of Death? Because it says it is helping in reconciling and preventing degeneration.
Right. So we can't live forever. What do you call it? It checks all excesses.
Okay.
Checks all excesses. Right. If everybody lived forever, there would be, forget cars, there would be place to keep human beings also.
Yeah. Which would then have no possibility of ever taking the return journey to source.
It is most important. It is the ladder for the return journey to source. This neutral ray, because it comes right from Satyam, it penetrates what do you call Janatapa Satyam and penetrates Bhuva Swa right down to Nadir. It is this ladder which is the ladder of consciousness. If you climb this ladder, if we can climb this ladder, only because of this ray is it possible to go back and dissolve into Satyam once again.
A great safeguard automatically prevailing.
It is a safeguard. Is right. So if you see in history, also nothing in excess. Whenever excesses have happened, something has taken over. The Soviet Union was there for some time. It lasted. It dissolved and went away. China is now on the verge of breaking up at some time, and all that was so. All this is because of the third. What do you call the seventh ray? The seventh ray.
As for the seventh ray is not activated unnecessarily at any time, but is introduced only as a necessary safeguard.
Right. Yeah.
Not activated unnecessarily at any time.
You cannot activate it because without consciously knowing about it, how are you going to activate it?
Even in downward arc, it is not activated.
In downward arc, there is no activation at all. So there must be consciousness of the laws of the rays that you can be able to activate the ray.
But tapa is achieved when there is a rapid fall on the downward arc, right?
Yeah.
And how is it activated in tapa?
No, it is. We
is
forget
first-
activate it now in our normal life.
It is first activated after Murari.
Try to observe the working of the law in our normal life every day, right? So I love the food, but after some time my stomach says I'm full, right? So my love for food at that moment is suspended temporarily, right? Otherwise I would keep on eating, but it is the third force comes in the guise of the stomach and says that you are full. So in every moment in our life, this seventh ray is what you call working. It is preventing what you call so many dangerous situations. It is what you call preventing all excesses, right? And when things go excess from the seventh ray, it goes into disease, what we call. But we'll talk about that some other time. Yeah.
As for those who cry for divine intervention, saying with God everything is possible, this attitude is unbecoming.
Yeah. I say with God, we can change this cup into gold. Even God can't do that, right?
If we are to be an adult humanity, this absolutely childlike attitude must leave us. In this ordered existence, wherein all is based on immaculate laws, such ideas are alien.
Everything is law. Everything is law, right? Only consciousness is not law confirmable. Otherwise, everything is law confirmable.
Sorry, only consciousness is not law?
Confirmable. CONFORMABL.
Confirmable.
So that keeps evolving with experience, right? Does
Yes.
that what it
With the
means?
law of the ray of wisdom comes in with experience.
Okay.
Shall we stop here? We'll continue this 7 rays next time.
Okay.
Yeah?
You're here next Sunday with us?
Yeah, next Sunday I'm here.
Okay.
I've written a note on these 7 rays. So
Right.
if you're okay with it, we'll read that note also.
Sure. That's good.
Huh? Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Rajan,
so
you
much.
have
All
written
the
more
best.
in that note. Hey, Rajan bhai,
Haji?
have you written more in that note? Yesterday's note, more you have.
I'm trying to.
Please do it.
I'll do it. Now I have one.
It is more important for the day-to-day life. That's why.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you, Rajan bhai. Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rajan bhai. Jai Bhagwan.
Jai Bhagwan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.